Give me a thumbs up once we're live. Audio and video? You ready, Matt?
Mm-hmm. Born ready.
For fans, by fans. Section 336, the next generation of Baltimore sports talk.
Today on the show, our Baltimore sports talk hits harder than Von Miller hitting a crying Tom Brady as we discuss all the hard-hitting news stories like Manny Machado getting a new tattoo and our possibly controversial takes and reactions to the new Norfolk Tides mascot. Or is it their new nickname? Or no, I think it's their new team logo. Is that right? I don't know. But we will get into that, and we'll get into some actual real sports talk on this edition of Section 336.
Section 336.com. Buckle up, birds, be ready to ride. Your host, Matt Josh, Bird, are ready to fly. Baltimore's best, Section 336, the #1 sports broadcast. Get your fix. What's the news? Let's talk about Buck, our favorite Orioles. What's the latest lineup? Home runs and stolen bases. This is a trip. Stay tuned in at 336.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Baltimore sports fans of all ages, welcome to Section 336, the next generation of Baltimore sports talk. I'm your endearingly stuttering host, Matt Sroka. As always, I'm joined by the zany Bert Rode.
What up, 336ers?
And by the button lover, Josh Sroka.
That would be Chris Davis's excitement to come back to Baltimore.
Oh, nice. So every time there's an exciting moment of the podcast, can we expect that button? You gotta have that button on. Have that button at the top of the page.
That fits in good with the What Up 336ers.
Yeah. It's not quite a button yet. Little last minute submission, but it'll be a button by next week.
Yeah.
So it can come out all the time.
So that was Chris Davis' reaction when he signed with the Orioles?
He said he wanted to climb on Dan Duquette's shoulders and make that noise.
Okay. Well, if I signed a contract for what, $150 million, $161 million, I would scream. I would give a good yelp.
See, I was thinking, my mind, I went straight to bobblehead. Can we give away a bobblehead of Chris Davis on Dan Duquette's shoulders and a button that makes that noise?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think the bobbleheads with the buttons, I think, are a great addition to take the bobblehead game to the next level. I love the buttons on the bobblehead. Little audio with the bobblehead action.
Any bobblehead that can make sound along with the bobble.
Yeah.
A+ in my book.
You guys know what? I succeeded. I finally got the intern out of the studio. But here's the problem. I can see the intern now, and you guys can't, because I can see him through the glass window.
Yeah, that's bad seating arrangements on your part.
So if the window's moved over to here next week, you'll get it.
And if he looks right through like the left-hand side, my left-hand side, the intern's right-hand side, up over that monitor, then the 336ers on the YouTube stream can see him poke his little head up there.
Thankfully, he doesn't know how to zoom the camera in on himself or anything yet.
We'll
be all right.
Yeah, we need to get him a camera back there.
We're going to get him a camera. We're going to get him a mic. It's one thing at a time. Now I'm enjoying the fact that he can talk and I can't see him. I can see him. I can't hear him.
I know. I'm waiting for Josh's next step. Is going to be to move him like outside the house, and he'll be sitting outside somewhere and have to do the trip.
How about remote editing?
Yeah, I think it's just an issue of extension cords. Josh needs to find longer extension cords, and then
it's extension cords and bandwidth.
Right.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
He's taking on the straight up producer role though, like where he's not even in the studio with us anymore.
The intern's running things now. The intern runs things.
It's scary.
That's the best part about kicking the intern out is he's actually doing work. We've never asked. We've asked him to do work, but now he's actually doing it.
Yeah, and he's still. I still expect him to come up with the fun facts and analyses and corrections at the end of the show. So
he might be running those cameras, but come the end of the show, he better have some fun facts.
Yeah.
We'll have something.
I think when all the dust settles in a couple years here, it's just going to be the intern show, and we'll all be out of jobs. It's just going to be the intern. I think that's how this. I think that's the end game.
No, that's what you guys are trying to set up for this summer, and it's not going to happen. I tell you.
Well, I think if people had to choose to listen to the intern or listen to no one, I think they're going with the intern, right? Just give the intern a mic and just let him go.
Yeah,
let him go
and watch
for an hour.
Watch the listeners plummet.
Can I be a part of this? Because I'm in. I would love to be on an intern show.
Yeah, the only thing greater than that is lock the intern and Josh in the same room together.
Now that's a good show.
Turn on the mics for an hour and then just watch magic happen.
That could be like Perfect Strangers, where Josh would be cousin Larry, and the intern is straight up Balky.
Yeah, I think it has a better.
Right, because Balky's the weird one that makes no sense.
Yes.
I think it has a better chance to end up like making a murderer than it does ending up with like perfect strangers.
Making the murder.
Hey, have
Yeah.
you guys been watching Making a Murderer?
I got 2 weeks. 2 weeks in. I got 2 weeks in here, and I got to get out.
You got-
I didn't do it. I ain't do nothing. I got 2 weeks in here, and it's all gonna go bad for me.
All right, Mr. Cold Case Matt, or not Cold Case, Conspiracy Matt. Look up Cold Case Cameron. Google it. This guy. I heard him on the Sports Junkies this morning.
I haven't watched. Is this? I only saw 2 episodes and I
Alright.
stopped watching the show. Is it going to affect my?
Yeah,
movie
watch.
here?
Finish the show
Spoilers.
first.
No, I'm not watching anymore. I don't like
All
it.
right, then
2 shows. I'm
then
done.
go with this.
Yeah.
So they had this guy on. He is a detective, and he is pointing all of these like major cases to this one guy that did all the murders, including John Benet Ramsey.
Teresa Hallbach.
Well, that's the person this time.
Right.
And he goes.
One guy did all of these murders.
One guy does all these murders, and then he makes sure that his picture is like he's at the funeral or something.
Oh, nice.
And the crazy part
Guy
is
Edwards. Yeah.
Yeah, this Edwards guy. The crazy part is when you watch the documentary, at one moment he is standing in the back of the courtroom.
Like he's photoshopped, or he's actually
No,
there.
he's there. He's there.
It's like that guy Ariel Castro in Cleveland who kidnapped those 3
So-
girls, but went to all the rallies in support
Right.
of the families, and he attended all that
So
stuff.
this guy-
meanwhile, he had him chained up in his house.
His website, I think it's Cold Case Cameron, and you gotta read it.
Yeah, I'm looking
Check
right now.
out-
It's pretty fascinating.
Check out his interview on the Sports Junkies from this morning. I'm sure it's up on their podcast. It was fascinating.
Edwards a Satanist.
Oh, the guy's dead now.
Oh my.
He finally got
Oh,
caught.
was okay.
But he would commit a bunch of murders every year, and they were always the high profile. What's the girl that got killed in Rock Creek Park?
I don't know.
Maybe it wasn't Rock Creek, but in D.C. And like all these big cases, and it's like he has like evidence pointing to this guy doing all these big cases. It's crazy.
I'm in.
So check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Shoot.
2 weeks. I got 2 weeks in here. I didn't do it.
All right. Well, can we get back to the business of doing a baseball podcast or a
We
Baltimore sports
could.
podcast?
We could, but I did forget that my girl said to give Bert his birthday card on the podcast.
Ooh, on
Okay.
air.
They said to give it to you on air.
All right.
So here is your birthday present.
And today is actually Josh's birthday.
Yeah, it's birthday week.
So
for
a
Section
special
236.
shout out to Bert and Josh, who both celebrate birthdays this week.
And we both turned 36. Is that some kind of reference to Section 336?
There's 3 of us. You both turned 36.
We did? This is
Absolutely.
a big honking card.
Oh look, the girls gathered up by the camera. They
Oh,
did want to.
They want to see what...
It's from
is this
them
going to
also.
jump out at me or something?
I would be careful opening that.
I decided
I'm
to throw you a
put it over-
Fiesta, and I do love Fiestas. I open this the right way. Okay.
So some.
So I do like Sonic.
We know you're heading down to the beach, so you can get some nerd slushies.
Sonic gift cards, 336ers on the cameras there.
Oh yeah, I forgot we have
Right here,
presents.
right now. Yeah, that's how awesome I think you are. Happy birthday from Josh, Mandy, Emma, Brooke, and Camden. Instant party, press here. I know what
Well,
we're
this has all
doing.
gone over me.
Confetti for those who aren't watching the live feed. Confetti just shot out of Bert's card. That's an impressive birthday card that shoots confetti.
This is an impressive birthday card.
My lap is now covered with confetti.
It is everywhere.
The question is, can we reload that for multiple uses?
Yeah, I want to have another Fiesta. I'm gonna toss these.
Absolutely. That's a sweet card.
Happy birthday!
You know, it's also in honor of the championship games because nothing goes with sports like confetti.
Yes, there was lots of confetti.
Every time you win a big game, you need confetti.
I thought we were
Carolina.
shooting confetti in the air for our new iTunes reviews.
Oh, there we go.
iTunes reviews.
Yeah, it's been a while since we got some iTunes review, and then
Dude,
we got a flurry of
today's-
iTunes review.
Today's been a fun
Thank
week
you,
for Section 336.
Yeah.
We can go iTunes reviews, or we can go publications.
Let's talk about how awesome we are for about 5 minutes, and then we'll get to the rest of the show.
We got plenty of time.
Hold on, I got to clear off my buttons.
Thank
They're
you
covered
guys.
with
Thank you
confetti.
guys seriously for the card and the Sonic gift cards. It's very cool. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Get some nerd slushies.
I will.
All right, what do you want to go with? iTunes reviews?
Sure. How we doing?
All right, we got 3 new ones this week.
Nice.
We got one.
2 of them from people that don't sit at this table.
Yeah, one we will not read because let's just say Matt finally figured out how to review podcasts.
We've been doing this show for 3 years, and I never wrote a review.
Did you write a review
Well,
for any other podcast while you were at it?
No, but I'm going to. I'm gonna
Sure,
hit
you
my
gotta.
favorite ones. All right, I'm gonna hit all my favorite. I'm gonna get Bird's Eye View. I'm gonna get the Morons. I'm
Two
gonna get my
Birds.
Between Two Birds. I'm gonna write those reviews. I'm gonna get to it. I just figured out how to do
All
it.
right. Go over to
You know what the problem was? I tried to do it earlier, and then I didn't know my password for iTunes.
That's right. I forgot. Whenever you wanted to download something, you had to ask your wife.
Yeah, because Emily knows the password. I didn't know it, and so Emily and I happened to be in the same room when I was trying to do it, and she told me the password, and I was able to click I write in the password. I love Emily. It's the password, and then I was able to write the review.
How does Emily feel about your username being Mattis Lover?
Yeah. Well, I figured that's a little, just a shout out to all the Mattis lovers out there. But anyway, we got a couple other reviews that weren't written by me. You want to read those,
Yeah,
Josh?
sure.
Yeah.
First one. No wink needed.
And who's this by?
Drektunes.
Yeah. And that's a subtle way of saying he wants a wink.
There you go, Direct Tunes. That one's just for you.
But by the way, Bert,
You want to know what he says?
No, just hold off on that
right.
thought for a second. I was talking to my sister, to Bert's wife, Laura.
My sister.
Yeah, our sister.
My wife.
Yeah, not
My
Bert,
wife.
not Bert's sister. That was
You like
weird.
my wife?
Yeah. And I was talking to her anyway, and it came up. The podcast came up, and it came up that you told Laura that you were gonna wink for her. So watch the YouTube link.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the side, I've noticed too, you're tweeting at people saying,
winks.
"Hey, look for the wink. I'm winking at you" to these random people on Twitter.
He tells everyone to look for the wink, but then he really winks at me, and it's awkward.
But he doesn't tell them that it's like this is a wink for everyone. He's saying, "Hey, I got a special wink just for you." But he's a
Right.
wink player.
Yeah, he's going to be DFA'd soon by the Orioles.
I'm not a player. I just wink a lot.
All right, Josh, you were reading your review.
Yeah, thank you to Drektunes. No wink needed. Just moved to Erie, Pennsylvania from Baltimore, and Section 336 keeps me informed and entertained about the Orioles. And I still have my T-shirt. I do miss
Nice.
the pre-show, though.
Yeah, we've gotten so much hate mail and
We're getting rid of the
reviews
pre-show.
for the pre-show.
And I just tweeted earlier tonight because I tried to do a pre-show on Periscope. That way we could even have video and tweet interactions with the Periscope, but Periscope kept crashing on me tonight. Sorry, but I'll try it again next week.
I know.
Is there a way we can do like a special start YouTube at 7:15 and do a special 15-minute YouTube pre-show?
Maybe
before
we're
we open
trying.
up to
We're trying to
everybody else?
juggle this thing of like sounding professional when someone tunes in, new,
Right.
versus having fun with the people who have been here forever for us.
Right. Well, that's what. So I'm saying if you keep it on the side.
Oh, and then edit that part out.
Yeah, and it doesn't go to iTunes. The pre-show doesn't go to iTunes. It just goes to a special sneak
Yeah,
peek to the
yeah. I
more
think if people,
work for Josh.
yeah, I think if people tune in like 7:15, we can do that.
Yeah. Hey, you can. I'm looking at the YouTube page now. It says comments are disabled. Is that normal?
That's just for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because people have been commenting.
Well, no,
constantly.
the comments are disabled down at the bottom, but there's an ongoing chat on the right-hand side
Okay.
that is active.
There you go.
Oh, I have no idea how that works. That's crazy. I'm seeing it now.
Now you see it.
That blows my mind. I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't know either.
Yeah, I've been interacting with a few folks.
I don't even understand what that is.
That's basically
That's people who
where
are watching us right now.
that's where you type if you want to wink, and then he winks.
Yeah, I just didn't know that thing even existed on YouTube.
Guys, we got
This is
another.
amazing.
We got another iTunes.
All right, yeah,
review.
let's get these knocked out.
Wow.
This is from bpinter23. Only reason I use my podcast app. Before discovering this podcast, I never used the podcast app on my iPhone. I just thought, oh yay, more junk Apple stock apps.
And they do put a lot of junk on your phone that you can't get rid of.
Like stocks.
Yeah,
Then came Twitter.
I get it. I feel you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I get it.
Then
I don't
came
play the stock
Twitter
market either.
and Section 336. I love that all these guys are hardcore Orioles fans, just like myself. And they talk the facts, not the what-ifs. I listen to their new episode every Wednesday morning at work, and nothing else matters until the episode is over. Thanks, guys, for being real Oriole fans, unlike some other nerds out there on Twitter.
Yay,
Yes.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
And
We've had-
this guy started following us on Twitter. He's relatively new, isn't he? I've seen that name, B Pinter, Brian Pinter, something like that.
I feel like that's a direct response to that rant where I called out some nerds on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah. He favorited or wished me happy birthday or something yesterday
Nice.
on Twitter.
Well, we
Appreciate
are.
that.
We are going with the winks. We are men of the people. We are fans. We come up. We that's all we are. We're just a couple average Joes who love our O's and sit around in a circle and talk about them.
Sometimes we do talk about baseball.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
Eventually.
And we'll get there.
As much as
don't rush us.
Yes.
I love the iTunes reviews, and I'm very excited every time we get a new iTunes review because it helps out the show a lot.
Me too.
For people to see that. But on what's it, Wednesday morning, that we were surprised with the little comment that you got a Facebook message, Bert?
I got to give a shout out to my cousin Artie hooking me up. He said, wrote on my Facebook wall that we got to mention in Baltimore Magazine, the Baltimore Magazine.
It was such a tease because he didn't post a picture.
Yeah, I had no idea what he's talking about.
And we didn't know what he was talking about.
Josh didn't. Matt, did you know what he was talking about?
I do not subscribe to Baltimore Magazine. I did not get it in the mail.
In fact, I still don't fully know because I went and checked newsstands, and it's still on the January issue. So if this is from the February issue, which my Safeway is not carrying yet.
Well, apparently, if you were subscribed, which Artie does, apparently you get it like a week before the newsstand.
You can't even get the digital versions. I tried to get the digital versions.
Well, shout out to Artie for getting the magazine, reading the magazine, and
he found it
in there.
Snapped a picture of
Artie
it.
sent us a picture.
Yeah,
and this is on some type of like podcast you should listen to segment in the magazine.
Well, because the new edition is titled like Into the Future or something.
Right, Into the Future in Baltimore.
The Next Generation.
So they did a thing on.
Hey, I'm saying.
I think it might have been. We don't have. It was like 10 local podcasts you should listen to. Or
we
something like
don't
that.
have the edition in front of us.
We don't know. I'm sure once we get the paper, we'll
get it
hold
framed
up
on the
here and
wall. Like they do when a restaurant makes like the top 10 Baltimore Magazine, they get that page framed on the wall.
It's gonna start looking like Five Guys up in here.
Yeah.
You know what else? When we make our first $1, we'll hang that up too.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think we have to make a few dollars to make up for the dollars we've lost before we can actually hang one up on
Our
the wall.
first $1 in the black.
Right. But guys, we had nothing to do with this. So I would love whoever wrote this for Baltimore Magazine, whoever decided to nominate us for however this thing, however it works, however we got into Baltimore Magazine. I'd love for the story, and I'd love to find out how we got selected.
You see, I think the mystery is kind of exciting too.
It is. But if
Like,
we know
what
who,
if we find out it was like your dad or something? Then it's not as exciting.
We'll call it every day for the past 2 months.
I told Josh when we first saw this on Wednesday morning, I was like, this is really cool, but I don't want to get excited. It's like when you drive down the road and you see a Section 336 car magnet on the road, and you get all excited, and then you realize it's like my grandmother's car. So I'm not that excited.
Well, I already checked, and we've got no family members that work for the publication or any relation. A lot of people didn't know what Baltimore Magazine was, but I at least knew what it was. So anyway, it says, Section 336. We have it on good authority that even some Masson employees listen to brothers Josh and Matt Soroka and their childhood friend turned in-law, Bert Rohde, as they discuss Ravens, Orioles, Terps, and other sports and pop culture news of the week. I think that should just be our iTunes description from now on.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And it has to come from somebody who's listened to this show for a long time.
It's pretty spot on.
Because it's not, and we know you guys are brothers, and I'm the brother-in-law, and we've been childhood friends, but we don't talk about that all the time.
Right.
Like, somebody's been listening to the backlog or something, or watched one of our videos or something like that.
No, I don't think it's that much a
information.
mystery, because Hood for Iron, he comes in here, he sits down for 5 minutes, he's like, what, are you guys brothers?
Well, yeah, he knows we're brothers, but to know that Bert's a childhood friend turned in-law takes some work. And by the way, it says, for fans of the Bill Simmons podcast. Have you guys ever listened to Bill Simmons?
I'm familiar.
I know who he is.
It's one of the top sports podcasts on iTunes.
It is the top sports podcast on iTunes.
So that's a favorable comparison.
So
even if you don't like Bill Simmons.
I believe Bill Simmons has been fired from multiple jobs for being a bit of a blowhard at times.
Sure. Yeah, well,
but that sounds about right.
Yeah,
however you feel about Bill Simmons, it's still a favorable comparison as far as for one of the top sports podcasts in the country.
Yeah. I'm sure if we
for our little project we do down here.
Oh yeah, it's flattering. I'm sure if we worked for some kind of company or corporation, we would have been fired a couple times at this by this point for something we've said on the podcast, right?
Probably yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's good to not have a boss.
Yeah,
not me.
Who do you think is the person most likely to get us fired from if we worked for someone bigger than us for saying something stupid? Who is the person say something insensitive or something. What I like to
Do we
call
count the spring break shows?
I like to call a shout out to Bird's Eye View. I like to call making a Scott Magnus comment. Who would be most likely to get fired for making a Scott Magnus like comment?
Yeah, he's made a few of those comments.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd get a pass on anything ridiculous
The
I've
whole
ever
zany
said
card.
because I just say I was just being zany.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if the big bosses would agree with
If
that.
that works.
Yeah.
You go into the board meeting, zany.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would probably be the intern, and he would burn the whole ship down.
Oh yeah, you're right. It would be the intern. Yeah, that's a good call.
Yep. That's why he's got to be out of the room.
And the intern wouldn't get fired. You're right. The whole show would come down crashing.
Crash and burn.
I mean, it was world's worst intern. What can you do?
We're receiving a request to use the whiteboard tonight, so we got to come up with a use for the whiteboard.
We use it every week. Look,
I know.
We did the likelihood will sign.
Well, just
free
keep
agent.
that in the back of your mind as we progress through the show. Think of something we can put on the
All right.
whiteboard tonight.
Absolutely. If worst comes to worst, we can pull a Woody Page and put a pun up there.
What do I need to pull a Bert and just say instead of a wink, I'll write your name on the whiteboard.
Yeah, I would do that for you, Jacob Rock.
Donate $10 and I'll put your name on the whiteboard.
All right, if we can get to some Baltimore sports news, we have 23 days till pitchers and catchers officially report.
That's a good number.
Yeah, that's the good news. The bad news is we still don't have a fifth starter.
That's bad
So
news.
we don't have enough pitchers who are going to be reporting.
Guys, we got a lot of pitchers.
Yeah, but
We got Vance Worley. We got Tyler Wilson.
yeah,
We got
Mike Wright.
Mike Wright. We got Dylan Bundy. We got another shortstop that we can maybe ask him to pitch. We're good.
So last week I went on a bit of a rant about the Chris Davis signing and about how some of the nerds were against it, and I called out a few of them by name.
Yeah, that was ballsy.
Yeah, well, I'm a ballsy kind of guy. I can talk crap about people I've never met and who I only know their Twitter handle. I'm good at that.
Yeah,
Sure.
but what happens when they hear it?
Yeah, well, no one really responded directly except for Jeff Long. So props to Jeff Long for responding back to me. And he's a great follow on Twitter, Jeff Long BP. He's a writer for Baseball Prospectus.
I would encourage everyone to use Twitter the way Jeff Long used Twitter.
That was wonderful.
He listened to our episode and wrote out his thoughts on Twitter as he listened along.
Yeah, I've experienced people have done that before with our show where I can tell they're in the middle of the show and they'll tweet something at me of something stupid I said,
Right.
and say, Bert, that was something stupid, and then like a few minutes later in the show, I redeem myself like I always do, and then they tweet back and they say, sorry for tweeting saying you were ridiculous back
Yeah.
then.
Well,
But yeah, this and Jeff Long from Baseball Prospectus, that's a legitimate site. That's not just a bunch of dudes in the basement like us. Is
Like
it?
that's not Section 336. But the part I didn't like about Jeff Long's tweet is that at one point he did tweet that he agreed with Josh, and that knocked his credibility down a good bit. If you ever agree with Josh, so that was a knock against him.
away from the microphone.
So anyway, a couple comments I just wanted to read that his response, and see, this is how I like it. He can respond in 140 characters, and I can respond for like 40 minutes on the mic. This is the way I like it. And in fact, like props to Jeff Long, because he responded while also like tagging Utah Street Report, Josh, Bird's Eye View, and me. So he was really left with like 50 characters to work with. So good for him. But anyway, a couple things he said for the record, he tweeted my tweets. And this is Jeff Longian talking. For the record, my tweets were before news of full no trade clause and deferrals. And so I was calling Jeff out for tweeting his opposition to the Chris Davis deal. In fairness to him, he tweeted those out, and I quoted his tweets from before the news of the deferral came out.
All right.
Which changed his opinion, I'm sure, slightly.
Sure. We've all tweeted things and then realized after the
Yeah.
fact.
And it's a bit unfair for me to go back what they said before all the numbers came out,
Right.
and jump on him for that. That's probably unfair of me, but
it's
I don't really care.
Some premature tweeting on him.
And then he wrote another comment, but I do want he in regards to the bigger argument here about what is it a good deal or not. He said, but I do want to build a sustainable model. Do you think the O's are sustainable now? And I think this is, and I would like to get into this a little bit with you boys right now to start the show. This idea of what the Orioles are building. We've had success since 2012. Even last year was a down year, but the down year was we went 500, right? It wasn't like we lost 100 games.
Sure.
So the question becomes, is our success, what we've done since 2012 to now, is it sustainable? can we continue doing it into the indefinite future, or is there something wrong with how we're doing things? Is it not sustainable? How about we start with this? How did the Orioles get to the point of 2012 to now where they're able to become a competitive team? Like, how do we all of a sudden change from losing every year to now becoming a consistently winning franchise?
Well, the front
What
office
happened?
changed. I mean, you gotta start with Buck and Dan got together.
Yeah,
Okay.
Buck Showalter was the biggest
they had
one,
some
obvious
kids.
one. Because right before him was who? Dave Tremblay and Juan Samuel.
Right. And that's something that I don't think the fan graphs and when they do projections, they really don't incorporate
No, they don't give the
manager's
manager
role
anything.
at all.
Sure.
And I think manager role is one of the most underrated things in baseball that really no one takes into account for, because they don't know how to quantify what managers do.
Right, They talk about ballpark factor, but they don't have a manager factor.
Right, and this is fair in the sustainable argument, right? So this is one thing we will continue to do to be sustainable.
All right.
A manager, and good front office, right? So this is two things that are going for us to
So we
become
got
a sustainable
Buck
winning
and
team.
Duquette.
Yeah,
we got going for us.
but that's not all that's went right for us the past 4 years. What else, or 3 years? What else has gone right for us?
pitching. No,
Not really. We haven't
no,
had good
no.
pitching.
We got foundational players.
Yeah, and how did we get those foundational players?
Made some.
We swindled a couple teams like the Mariners and the Rangers.
Yeah, so a lot of those guys came from trades, right? Like Adam Jones, Chris Davis, Chris Tillman,
Yep.
J.J. Hardy, pretty much all of them came from the McPhail era.
Yes.
And it came in trades.
All right.
That we
Yes.
we trade, but we also traded talent, right? We traded away Eric Bedard,
But-
who was a talent.
But is it fair to use Hardy and sustainable together? I think.
Hey, he was.
I think if you're making a list of, are we sustainable, and you got to look at having Jones locked up for a while and having that foundation in center field. Even Tillman, even in the bullpen, he's not a great guy, but he's been stable and good, and hopefully he'll have a bounce back year. You can leave him under sustainable.
Right, but I'm talking more about not even if the players
How we
can hold
got
up,
here?
but how we got. Like, is that something that we can repeat? Like, sustainable means you're able to kind of repeat it over a course of a long period of time. Can we repeat ripping teams off? I would offer.
Well, except that all these moves
Yeah.
were pre-Duquette.
Right.
These are Andy McPhail moves.
Right. So look, I want to come back to the trade thing because I think that's an important part of sustainability. So, but we're also, Josh, and you mentioned we re-signed Jones, we re-signed Hardy, we re-signed Chris Davis. So part of the deal is re-signing key pieces to our team. Like, that's something else we've
Right.
done, and we've done well. And also, our player development. We've drafted and developed some players.
Who?
Manny Machado.
All right.
Matt
Jonathan
Wieters,
Scope.
Jonathan Scope, and you need, again, sustainability to win for a long period of time. You need to develop your own players because they are like the most prized possession in baseball. They're
Sure.
good players and they cost next to nothing.
Sure.
So that's how you did it. The question is, can you keep on doing this? The management is good. It's not going to go anywhere.
Right.
But can you keep on making these trades? Can you keep on growing good bats who impact the lineup? Is this a sustainable model that we could take into the future, the way we're doing it now?
Right. Well, right. When you're talking sustainable, Adam Jones in center field, you got that checked off. Jonathan Scope, second base, check that off. Catcher's a little question mark. We don't know where that's going to go with Matt Wieters, but you got Caleb Joseph, who's stable.
But the thing is, you got listed here on our whiteboard basically the core of our team, all of
Yeah.
our stars.
Right.
But you still need,
But-
you still got some blanks you got to fill in.
Right.
And we have hit. In 2014, we hit with Nelson Cruz. We hit with, and in 2012, Nate McLouth and
good.
guys
Yes,
like this, or Steve Pierce.
Yes.
You know, you hit on those little guys, but for every guy that we hit on, was also we've missed on a lot of them as well.
But this is something
So-
that Dan Duquette has been good at, right? And this, I think, is another thing that's sustainable, is finding those peripheral guys.
Like a Trumbo.
Yeah,
Maybe, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, like a Trumbo, like a McLouth, like a Cruz. But at the same time, you're right, and the Orioles have been okay with saying, okay, it wasn't Everett Cabrera was not a good signing, but the Orioles have
Travis
been okay
Snyder,
saying we will cut bait. Travis Snyder experiment went on way too long, so did David Lowe experiment. But they've been okay with saying, okay, this 1 year deal with Delman Young is not working out. We'll cut bait and we'll try again.
Right.
And that's what I think you need to.
But then the question comes to 2016, and are we set with that?
Right. Well, the big argument I'm trying to make, Josh, is these all guys will be in our offense and will be in our team, the guy we just named, for the next 3 years.
Right.
In 5 years, are we going to go back to losing 90 games, or can we keep on winning even after these guys go?
It depends, because we had Jones and we had Hardy. We then brought Machado. We had Wieters came first, then Machado came, then Scope came after Machado. We've had guys coming in. I don't see that.
Will it continue? Yeah.
I don't see that right now in our minors for guys to come in and fill these roles as they mature.
I agree. So we don't have that sustainability in our minor leagues. And the next issue is, well, some team like the Yankees can just sign new free agents, or Dodgers and spend more, or Cubs and spend more money.
Right.
We're not an organization that can just spend more money. So if we can't do like we did with Wieters and by the way, when you win, you don't get the best players in the draft. You're not going to get Manny Machado when you win 90 games, right? Because he comes at the very top of the draft. We just come at the very top of the draft. So can you continue to win with picking at number 18, 19, and 20?
Right.
Can you continue to win when you don't have that farm system, when you can't sign all the high-priced free agents? How do you win in 5 years?
Foreign markets.
With the way that you do, with the way we're doing right now. How do you win in 5 years?
Like this. You got to go overseas.
1, 2, 3. Kim Hyun-soo. Somebody's gonna actually choreograph a dance for that. I think the man for the job is right here.
I mean, I imagine that when they play this in Camden Yards, the Oriole bird will be doing something.
Yes.
Yeah, I like how, and this just ends any argument. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. Boom, end of argument with that song. Okay, Josh, you're right, but that's not. I mean, if you're relying completely on the foreign market, the only way that this team came together is because we drafted Manny Machado, and because, I mean, he's an elite player, and because we made some really good trades. Andy McPhail made some really good trades.
Right.
We have to continue to make really good trades, which means we have to trade away talent.
All right.
So I'm just saying, in the future,
what is the best trade that Dan Duquette has made?
The best trade Dan Duquette has made?
Has Dan Duquette made a trade to bring talent into Baltimore? Because we can point to these great trades, but they're all Andy McPhail trades.
Right.
So what has Dan Duquette done in the trade market?
You mean trading for Scott Clevenger for Jake Arrieta? Or do you mean...
Clev's gone.
Or do you mean trading for Bud Norris and giving away a young pitcher? You mean trading Eduardo Rodriguez for Andrew Miller?
Andrew Miller's gone. You forgot Gerardo Pereira.
Yeah. So that's, Josh, that's a great point, and that would go against the argument that this model is not sustainable if we keep on trading for guys for a year and then
selling everything off.
Right. At some point,
Zachy Daves,
thank you.
Yes, he was gone.
At some point, we have to bring in new, younger talent, and it might mean training some of the older talent if we want this model to work for more than the next 3 years.
Right.
So at some point, you may have to say, hey, Zach Britton was just ranked by ESPN for having the best pitch in all of baseball. His sinker was ranked as the number one pitch in baseball.
Yeah, that's impressive.
We may have to say, hey, sorry, Zach Britton, we have to let you go. Even though you have another year with us, we have to let you go so we can get new, younger talent so we can win 6 years from now and not just for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
That's going to be a conversation you're going to have.
So was that a mistake that Duquette made last season in end of July to say we're going to bring in Pera and go for this?
We've done that the last 3 years, right?
Right.
You can do it 1 year. I don't know how you can do it every year and build a team that wins year in and year out unless you can buy new talent, which the Orioles really can't.
Well, and it's tough when you're doing it every year because you think you need this one part to get us over the hump. Right. And it's not. We've won the division. We've been in playoff games. That hump now is the World Series. It's not we need a hump to get us into the playoffs.
Yeah.
We need to win the whole thing.
Well, and I think last year was a result of going for it in 2014 when we traded to get Andrew Miller, and that was a piece that we needed and the piece that took us to the American League Championship game, whereas last year our best option was Zach Davies for Gerardo Parra, and right fielder was not one of our biggest needs at the time.
Right.
So it was a dwindling trade. That was the best trade we could pull off because the prior year we pulled off a pretty awesome trade.
Right. But we had a better pitcher to trade than Zachy Davis.
Right.
And it was a trade to get us an on-base guy who then came and didn't get on
It
base.
didn't work out. Andrew Miller was fantastic,
Right.
and Gerardo Parra was terrible.
Yeah. And now he's in Colorado.
Yeah. So what are we gonna do? Who's gonna be the guy this year? Are we gonna keep on doing this till we have no young pitchers left? And I tell you what,
I think we ran out already.
Yeah, right.
we could use a Josh Hader, the guy we got from Bud Norris. We could use it at Eduardo Rodriguez. We could use a Zachy Daves in our minors system right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just don't know, doing this the way we're doing it now, if we can win the long term. So there's going to be, in the future, some tough decisions to make about guys like a Zach Britton or like a Jonathan Scope or like some of these younger players. Is it sustainable? Because we can't just re-sign everybody.
Right.
So at some point you have to say, okay, we know we're not going to be able to re-sign Zach Britton for $70 million or whatever he's going to make, $60 million. So let's trade him now, get a couple prospects in return to build a model that's more sustainable.
But
it's a fair point.
But
a
it
fair
is
discussion.
It is frustrating when we're in a situation like now where we have 4 starter pitchers, 4 guys in the rotation, and we need a 5th guy, and you look to your minor league system, and not only is there no one there that's ready, there's no one there that you have confidence in will be in the rotation in the future.
Right. Right. It's true. The 2 big guys are Hunter Harvey and Dylan Bundy, but they're still
Dylan
question
Bundy's
marks.
going to be in the bullpen this year.
Right, but we're talking in the future. I mean, if Dylan Bundy and Hunter Harvey reach their potential, then this team is set for the next 5-6 years.
How
with
many
those
years
guys.
off are we on Hunter Harvey? Another 3 years?
Oh no! I think next year.
2017?
I think 2017 at some point he could be back he could be in the majors. I think he would have been up here this year if it wasn't for all the injuries last year.
All right, so 2016 he spends in the minor. 2017 he gets a little sneak peek into the
Maybe
majors.
starts in the minors and halfway through comes up in the majors.
So yeah, 3 years, 3 seasons from now, he'll be starting.
I think maybe even next year he could start at some point.
Because you're saying mid-season.
Yeah, mid-season coming
right.
and start. And Dylan Bundy next year could start. And you look at an opening with Gossman, Bundy, and Harvey. That sounds appealing, but I know that screams of so many questions.
That sounded
and
appealing.
unreliability.
Right. That sounded appealing 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of worn now.
But those players are still there. The talent's still there. It's just it's a health factor.
Yeah, health factor's pretty important.
Yeah. No, it is. But it's also tough when you put all your hopes on a Hunter Harvey, all your hopes on a Dylan Bundy, when it would be nice to have some backup options. Like, I don't know, Eduardo Rodriguez, Zachy Daves.
Mm-hmm.
And of course we're
Well,
I love Zachy Daves.
and of course we're having this discussion now. We weren't very critical at the time because it's not like one trade doesn't screw an organization. But if you do this every single July, you trade a talented young pitcher for somebody, at some point it all adds up, and at some point you look at your farm system and you say, wow, how are we going to win in a few years?
sure. I mean, yeah, Kevin Gausman was basically the backup for Dylan Bundy.
Yeah. He was supposed to be the number 2. Dylan Bundy's number 1, Gossman's number 2. Now Gossman's the number 2, and Hunter Harvey. I mean, Gossman's number 1. Hunter Harvey's your number 2. I guess, I don't know, but it's again, it goes back to this idea of sustainability, and I guess we continue the discussion now. What I do know is we're gonna have a pretty good team this year, I think, and we're set up to have a pretty good. At least we're set up to have a great offense for the next probably 3 years. We're gonna have a great offense,
right,
and hopefully
having
enough pitching.
And a great defense.
Yeah,
not only did we have guys that can hit the ball, we take defense we're very focused on defense, and I think that comes from Buck Showalter.
Values that, yeah.
Right, and because of that, that's going to help out our pitching. And I know people like to do the is it FIP plus defense or whatever? What is it when they try to say our pitchers suck because they all rely on our defense too much?
Yeah.
But who cares when you have the defense? Why not use it?
Right. Yeah.
I know you like to handle the transitions here, but can we get to this Manny Machado tattoo talk?
Yeah. All right. Let's bring Bert back in the discussion as we handle this Manny and I mean, you guys are the kids over there with tattoos, so you guys are. I'm certainly a novice and have no experience when it comes to the tats, as the kids say.
Yeah.
So I'll let you guys handle this discussion on Manny Machado's new tattoo.
Well, for those who haven't seen it yet, Machado,
You have to see it, by the way, if you haven't.
He's on Instagram. Look up, I believe his username is Machados13. And he recently posted a picture of his new tattoo on his right forearm, his throwing arm.
It looks like a joke.
Gold Glove arm.
Oh no, Gold Glove would be the other arm.
I guess, yeah. Platinum Glove? Oh, that would be his left arm.
Yeah, glove is still always the left arm.
But it's still the right arm that earned
His
him
rocket arm, yeah.
His rocket arm. Yeah.
his reputation as the best third baseman in Major League Baseball.
Wait, is it like on the bicep? What?
It is on the forearm. It is right here.
On the
It's
forearm.
like right here. It's like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same place as my Oriole bird, but it goes all the way down to the wrist.
Yeah. You will see it when he's wearing short sleeves at Camden Yards this year.
It's all right.
It's huge.
It's got to be distraction, right? if he's going down for a grounder, you put your two arms in between your legs to get that simple grounder,
And your wife's there.
and your wife's face is there.
Good point. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, besides distraction in the rest of your life, it's got to be it's got to be a distraction. I predict Manny Machado wearing more long sleeves this baseball season.
Yeah, I wonder if they make him wear some kind of...
Did his wife make him get this tattoo?
I don't think so.
Oh my God, you guys are haters right now. Oh my goodness, who cares? It's not going to distract him from getting a ground ball.
I don't think that. If I'm being serious, I don't think
he
that.
might feel bad when the ball takes a bad hop and hits his wife in the face. He might feel bad about that.
Oh, it gives her a nice big black eye.
But it's not gonna have any impact on his playing ability.
See, now he's going to say something about Ray Rice, and he will be the one who
Yeah,
gets us
he gets all
fired,
fired.
when we have a real job.
No, I'm not. Ray Rice probably has the same tattoo.
Well, and if it
A
happens,
different wife, but
yeah, and
That would be weird if it was the same.
yeah.
if his tattoo does get a black eye, it'll be on video for everyone to see. So then
Yeah.
there'll be serious repercussions.
All right, so we've got great pictures of this tattoo now,
Mm-hmm.
and great pictures of the photo that it was inspired by.
Right.
Who's going to be the first Oriole fan to get Mrs. Machado tattooed on their arm? You know it's going to happen.
Well, this is his wife. I assume it's pronounced Yanni Alonso, and her brother is Yonder Alonso, who is a Major League Baseball player,
Right,
who's
right.
now Manny's brother-in-law.
Right, he's on the Athletics.
He just got traded from the Padres to the Athletics last month in December, and they had been engaged. They got married last November. They had been engaged for like a year and a half before that, and apparently she had been his longtime girlfriend long before that. So, I mean, we don't know anything about his private life, but
No.
like portrait tattoos, realistic portrait tattoos of people's faces,
Are creepy.
they rarely turn out good.
Yeah.
You ever see ones that people get like their newborn daughter tattooed on their arm?
No.
Well, you don't hang out with the same circles I do.
Well,
Newborns are creepy to get tattooed because there's a reason your baby changes.
They're never going to look like
face.
that. Might as well get a photo of Elmer Fudd tattooed on your body.
that's what I
But here's the nice thing. Manny Machado is getting ready for a big payday, which means his wife can look like that forever.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like he broke kind of two taboos with tattoos. And again, I'm the novice here when it comes to tattoos, but I feel like there's two things you're not supposed to do. One, and Bert, you just mentioned this, the portraits really never don't really work out well.
Yeah.
And secondly, even like, they say you're not supposed to get like your girlfriend or your wife's
Yep.
name tattooed on you because what if things go south?
Sure.
So he kind of ballsy broke kind of two rules of tattooing that you're not supposed to break.
Yeah.
Manny Machado's out there just breaking rules left and right.
And to add on top of that, a third rule that he posted on Instagram to share it, that's fine. But then he also shared right next to it the original photograph that the tattoo artist used to ink the tattoo.
Right.
And if you just looked at the tattoo itself, it's fine. It looks fine.
Right.
But then you look at the actual photo and compare it to the ink job, it's
He
not
did
that great.
Yeah, did a little too much shading on the cheeks.
To be friendly. She and don't get me wrong, she's a very pretty girl. I'm sure she's
beautiful,
very
yeah.
happy to be married to the best third baseman in baseball.
And I'm sure he's very happy.
Very, very happy.
Everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy. It's just leave it to critics like bozos like us to say it's a little trashy.
Oh my!
Just saying. You don't see Lars Roka's face tattooed on my forearm, do you?
Have you ever thought
Not
about
yet.
it? Have you ever thought about getting the name or the face or anything?
I don't think I'd get a
that?
face.
Yeah.
That because I'd be afraid it wouldn't turn out good.
Are you-
Case in point,
well-
Yanni Alonso.
Are you concerned? Are you not going to stay with my sister, Bert? Are you concerned that this thing might not work
I
out?
think it's tattoo time.
Are you not ready to make a serious commitment?
I'm hedging my bets, man.
I mean, if you say I do means for better or for worse forever,
That's true.
man.
That's true.
So, but it's not tattoo forever.
I wouldn't be opposed to getting a name or something like that.
Initials, perhaps.
What?
Perhaps.
It gives you a backup plan as long as you find someone else with the same initials.
Same initials. Yep. I can go with the Laura, and then it leaves a door open for future Lauras. My experience, Lauras are always pretty girls.
Yeah. You
Now-
gotta be careful with the spelling. Some people just go with the A. Some people with the AU. You gotta be careful.
There's
with
no
the spelling.
Laras or
Now, when do we see the second the left arm, to see if he's got a portrait of Jonathan Scope.
You see, that would be wonderful. What they both got matching. Jonathan got one of Manny got one of Jonathan.
I see the big Chris Davis face behind you, and I'm thinking that'd be a pretty cool tattoo. Chris Davis's big smiling face.
Yeah.
Now, one of our listeners is putting in the comments here that he might be using it to distract pitchers. You know, if he's standing there at the plate with his right arm like that, that girl's staring right at the pitcher.
It's like the dancing lady.
Yeah, if he can kind of like make her like smile or like wink or something, but the way he moves his forearm, there might be something there.
Sure.
Make her dance when he flexes.
Right.
More power to him. Hope he's happy.
Yeah, it's your body.
Yeah,
get a tattoo if you get a tattoo.
He's going to be playing for the Yankees in 3 years anyway.
Yeah, and then we'll really trash his tattoo. Now we're being nice now.
We're being nice.
Second time the Yankees. I got some real things to say about that tattoo.
Right, and like any tattoo, let's see what it looks like in 3 years.
I thought it was like 30 years is what they say. Like when you get all real clear.
It depends.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad, Bert. We got that tattoo talk in. Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy. I feel like our listeners we'd be doing them a disservice if we didn't address it.
Yeah, plus, it was the big story in Orioles baseball.
Other than that, there's not much else other than to say that Buck is a good manager and Duquette is a good GM, and go on and on about it.
Wow, we didn't get to the LJ Hose news that just broke today.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that.
Okay, Bert. LJ Hose.
Yeah, I love LJ Hose.
Was DFA'd.
What?
Yeah.
I thought they brought him back to be our star right fielder or something.
Well, that's what Adam Jones and Jonathan Scope and Manny Machado thought too.
Yeah, he was a fan favorite.
Keep teasing
He's a
Hose.
player favorite.
Yeah, everyone loves him.
Everybody loves Hose.
Of course.
Why would you sign a guy, bring him here, just to DFA him? That's messed up.
That's just teasing.
For a guy what's the guy they got in here? The Efron or something?
Zach Efron? He's playing for the Orioles now?
Nor Efron, I thought.
Oh.
No, I don't. Efron Navarro, yeah.
He's just another. He's an outfielder.
He's another guy.
He's another outfielder.
Another outfielder.
His splits, his slash, his triple slash is the same exact as LJ Hose, but he's 4 years older than LJ Hose.
Yeah.
Well, what's the deal, guys?
Is he cheaper?
He's left-handed. He's not really cheaper. What's the deal? I don't know. But chances are that LJ Hose was not going to make the open day roster.
Right.
And it's fair.
He was on Houston last year, never made it up to the majors.
Right. And Navarro, I think his name's Navarro. I could be making up his name at this point.
I think you're right.
Yeah. And Navarro probably won't make the opening day roster either, I'm guessing.
Probably not.
No.
He's going to come to we'll see how he plays in spring training.
Yeah. We're going to bring in 20 right fielders, and one of them will make the roster.
And Navarro doesn't have any
two.
options, so he's going to be DFA'd just like Hose. I do hope. Everybody hopes that Hose kind of falls through, and maybe this is the Orioles' plan all along. That maybe they hope they can sneak Hose down to the minors so they can keep him there.
Sure.
And maybe this is, I don't know, is this a good time to DFA when people aren't paying attention? People distracted, slip Hose to the minors.
I don't think you can slip people without anyone paying attention.
Well, you certainly can't slip anybody past Dan Duquette. That's clear.
Yeah. Well, this will probably Navarro will be a guy that we see substituting in the 7th inning on the split squad game in Fort Myers at the Red Sox facility when we're there for spring training, and we'll be like, "Hey, that's the guy that got LJ Hose DFA'd," and then we'll boo him.
Yeah. Well, from everything I've seen, he's a great guy. From everything I've read, coming from the Angels, people loved him in the Angels. He's kind of like the Angels version of LJ Hose.
There we go. Everybody's got one.
I mean, he must be. They must see something that tells you he's
a
better right fielder than LJ Hose.
They have more information than
There's a reason they want to say, hey, maybe this guy could help us out.
But what both these guys have in common is they're borderline roster guys. Like the Angels don't have the best team in baseball, and they DFA'd them. So there's a reason that they DFA'd them.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, the Orioles juggle this roster so much during this season, it would make sense that we try to juggle it during the offseason, too.
Yeah. Dan Duquette loves the waiver wire. Loves it. It's his favorite thing.
I love it in fantasy football. I live on the waiver wire for fantasy football. Yeah. I don't know if it's a thing. Is it a baseball thing too? I don't even know.
Sure, it's a baseball thing too. It's fantasy works
How long
the same
have we
way,
been
no
doing
matter
the show?
what sport you do. All right, can we? We haven't really talked since the Ravens have gotten out of the playoffs. We haven't touched on the NFL at all, even
Not
though
too much.
We've all watched it. I'm sure we've all been watching the playoff games.
We had nothing else to do on Sunday. All snowed in.
Yeah. Broncos, Patriots, classic matchup.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the game, boys? I know my thought the whole time was, oh, crap. An offensive line is really important.
Yeah.
You could take the best quarterback in the world, Tom Brady.
Yep.
Get rid of his offensive line, and he's not a very good quarterback.
No, he was getting beat up.
Well, it's what we've been hearing all year about the Patriots is don't whine about the Ravens. The Patriots have been banged up all year too. Well, it caught up with them.
Well, and not to mention that the Broncos have one of the best defensive lines. Like, even with the hurting offensive line that the Patriots were having, nobody was stopping the Broncos that day, I felt like.
Yeah.
Defensively.
Yeah.
Right.
But wait a minute, guys. I thought this was a quarterback-driven league, and you had to have an elite quarterback to even compete.
Right.
And that's why you need to have your Big Bens, and you can't really win with your Joe Flacco's because he's not good enough. You have to be elite.
But then what happened to defenses win championships?
Yeah.
Because we lived and breathed that for a few years there.
Yeah, it's true, and that's what the Broncos are there not because of Peyton Manning. That's not why the Broncos are going to the Super Bowl. The Broncos are going to the Super Bowl because of the
Right.
defense there.
Right.
And I always look at it from the viewpoint or the lens of what does it say for the Ravens? And man, with that first pick, I might even be tempted. I don't know, and I don't say the draft very often, but there's an elite left tackle that you could place in there for the next 10 years in left tackle. You might want to go and get that guy because if you give a quarterback time, you can make a quarterback look great. And if you give a quarterback no time,
Yep.
I mean, no one knows all the offensive defensive linemen's names. Like those aren't everyday names unless they're on your squad, on your team.
Right.
But man, they make all the difference in the world.
What about the missed?
Because all we ever want to talk about is we need an elite receiver. We need playmakers. But you know what?
You got to give Joe weapons.
Yeah. But it all starts in the trenches, right? It's true.
Well, and the great quarterbacks can make playmakers out of any schlub receiver as long as he can catch the ball.
Yeah. If you give Kamar Aiken 10 seconds to run around and get open, he's going to get open, right? If you give these enough time, they're going to get open. But no one's going to get open in 2 seconds. And that's all it took Von Miller. It took him 2 seconds from the snap of the ball to hit Tom Brady.
Von Miller had a game.
There are a few things in this world I enjoy more than seeing Tom Brady get hit really hard. I really like that.
Yeah, that was fun.
I really like seeing Tom Brady get hit hard.
Yeah.
More than I probably should. It made me happy.
It was good. It's tough to watch Peyton Manning not be the old Peyton Manning. That he's not the quarterback he was at one point.
Yeah.
And this has to be his last year. I hope he goes out on top because...
Are you guys rooting for the Broncos?
No, I'm not. No way.
I am.
Why?
I don't care for Peyton Manning. I never have.
Yeah.
But people are saying he deserves a lot of respect, and I'm sure he does. And this is probably his last run, and we like to see him go out as a Super Bowl champion. Two things. I like that Eli has more rings than him, and I think that's awesome. that Peyton was maybe the greatest quarterback of all time, but his scrappy little brother won more Super Bowls than him. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
And Cam Newton's getting a lot of hate for his flashy play and his loud mouth and all this stuff and his celebrations. I kind of like him. I like Carolina more than the Broncos this year. That's my take.
There's no. I was thinking maybe John Elway would pop up into it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is it hard to root for John Elway? John Elway.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
You know the history there with the Colts.
Yeah, but this is, you know what it is? It's the first time in a while that there's a Super Bowl where I'm not upset about one of the teams in there. Like, it's not the Steelers, it's not the Patriots.
Yeah.
We're used to rooting against the Patriots no matter what. Yeah.
I can totally root for Peyton Manning to win and to go out on top like Ray Lewis got to. I don't have a problem with Cam Newton, and I can him winning the Super Bowl is kind of like this new wave of quarterbacks coming in post Brady Manning.
Yeah.
And also on top of that, like Josh said, I won't be pissed if the Broncos win. And I don't really care either way, but yeah, like it's not the Patriots, not the Steelers. I don't care if they win. That's cool. I think it should be a good game, an exciting game, and I want to see a lot of touchdowns.
Isn't there something missing though then from like a fan's vantage point, because there isn't that villain, that clear villain who you're rooting against, but there also isn't that kind of heroic team. Like not everyone's behind the Panthers, because there's a lot of things to not like about the Panthers. There's a lot of things to not like about the Broncos, but you don't hate either team.
Except you do. There's lots of people that hate Cam Newton and think he's a cocky quarterback and think that his dances are rubbing it into the face of the other team.
So
Cam Newton is a villain, and there's lots of people that hate Peyton Manning and they think Manning should have stopped playing football a while ago, and they can't look at Manning because they always see this Manning Brady head to head, and Manning's always the loser.
So if you're trying to sell someone, because I'm not super excited about the Super Bowl, I think it's kind of boring, to be honest. But if you're trying to sell someone the Super Bowl, Josh, are you selling Cam Newton, the villain, the new villain who no one really likes? He's too flashy, whereas Peyton Manning, the classic hero.
No.
What kind of scenario are you selling here?
Old
to
school,
get me
new
excited
school.
for the game. Old school, new
Old school, new school. Peyton Manning going out, that's the old way of quarterbacking. Cam Newton coming in is the new way.
But it's a little
That's the
deceiving
way it's going
because-
to be presented, I think, if they're looking for
Right.
storylines and stuff
But
to
that's-
sell to the public.
But the real storyline is we have two great defenses who are going to go at it, right? Because the
Yeah.
real
Right.
story about the Broncos, they're not here because of Peyton Manning. They're here because their defense is great.
Right.
But it's going to be sold classic Peyton Manning, new Cam Newton, and then it's going to be sold Peyton Manning coming back and getting his team through the playoffs versus the 15-1 Panthers.
Who are just stomping their opponents right now.
Yeah.
I don't care how good you
Yeah.
are. They're embarrassing the Seahawks, embarrassing the Cardinals. The Cardinals and the Seahawks were great teams this year.
Right.
Yeah.
And they just stomped on them.
I was shocked. Now, I'm not shocked that they won. I'm
Right,
shocked
that
by
it was
how
a
they won.
blowout.
Yeah. Well, Carson Palmer picked the worst day to play his worst game.
Yeah.
4 interceptions, 2 fumbles lost.
I know it's frustrating because I feel like every time anyone plays the Panthers, they have their worst game ever. Now, of course, some credit has to go to the Panthers, but I don't know. Like that. I remember when the earlier this season, the beginning of the season, the Redskins played the Patriots. I remember watching this game.
Yeah.
And the Redskins were so terrible, just like dropping the ball and just like missing tackles, and it was so obvious that the Redskins were just scared to play the Patriots.
Yeah.
They were playing a good team.
Overmatched.
Yeah, and they knew that coming into the game. And I feel that it's a little bit with the Panthers, that people get so tight and feel like they have to play the perfect game,
Right.
that they just make a lot of mistakes when they play the Panthers.
And meanwhile, Cam Newton has run up the score 30-0 before you can even blink.
Yeah.
Panthers are currently 4-point favorites in the Super Bowl
Oh, really? Is that what the number
over
is?
the Broncos. Yep.
You would,
That'll probably change in the next 2 weeks, but
yeah.
Yeah, but probably only by a point or two. Panthers will continue to.
It seems like a
Pretty
really
favorite.
tough game to pick, though. Really tough game to pick.
if you had to pick right now, who are you taking? I mean, we could change.
I
it.
mean, if you're picking, you got to.
We got one more week.
They're killing everyone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Manning did not look like Manning this past week.
Right, but Tom Brady is one of the best quarterbacks in the game. And do you see what Von Miller did to
True.
Tom Brady? It shut him down.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
That defense, though, if it's a low-scoring game, you got to like
You got to go Broncos.
and you have the experience of Peyton Manning.
Right.
I don't trust him to lead the team to 5 touchdowns. But if you're
Right,
playing a
but a tight
low-scoring game
game,
that he manages,
Sure.
He's I mean,
he's
he
been
would.
there before.
I feel like he would have to be cautious against the Panthers defense because if Carson Palmer's throwing 4 INTs
And
and
fumbles,
Carson Palmer can throw it more than 10 yards,
Right.
Peyton Manning can't. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not without it looking ugly.
All right, guys. I wasn't very excited by the game, but the more I talk about it, the more I kind of get excited for the Super Bowl.
We got one more week to talk
Yeah,
about.
it's good. Got 2 weeks to
man,
go.
I gotta wait a whole nother week.
We got the Pro Bowl coming up.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Not so much.
Who's watching the Pro Bowl here?
I'd
I
never.
don't know. That was one of my ball bag questions. Are you going to watch the Pro Bowl?
I don't remember last time I seen the Pro Bowl.
Nah.
We probably ought to get to the ball bag. It's
All right.
already 8:30.
Let's get to the ball bag.
We had a request for the ball bag.
You're just a ball bag, ball bag, ball bag, a ball bag, my friend.
Hey, ball bag.
How you doing?
How you doing?
What's your name again? It's ball bag. I'm posh.
How you doing? Joey? Friends?
Not familiar.
No.
What?
No.
Joey Tribbiani?
I mean, I know who Joey is, but I'm not familiar with that line or the whole Friends.
How you doing?
Okay.
Come on. That's his catchphrase.
Oh, okay. I'm not a Friends kind of guy. I don't think there are many guys out there who are Friends kind of guys. So don't look at me like I'm the crazy one, Bert. You're the crazy
Josh, you're not a Friends guy?
No, not a Friends
I
guy.
just watched Friends before I got down here. Tonight.
one. Why?
It was on TV. It was on
Hey.
TBS. More funny or whatever their
Real quick,
slogan is.
before we get to the ball bag,
Yeah.
the intern's manning our Twitter, and he's doing a great job. He's actually tweeting sometime.
Hey, intern.
But explain this tweet to me.
Okay.
Who would you prefer to see in Super Bowl 50? Peyton Manning and the Broncos or Cam Newton and the Panthers?
Cam. Oh, they're both. Wait a minute. That was a trick
Exactly.
question. That was a trick question, intern.
I don't
Trick
think,
question.
I don't
Who are you looking forward to watching more during the
He
game?
said, "Who would you prefer to see Super Bowl 50?
Well,
Peyton Manning and the Broncos, or Cam Newton and the Panthers?" Does he realize that they're both going to be in the Super Bowl?
Oops.
maybe he can clarify that in his closing segment because he really can't speak for himself right
Right.
now.
Give him a chance to redeem himself.
Thank you, Bird's Eye View, for pointing that one out.
Busted.
So, all right, guys. So we were just talking about the Pro Bowl. In the ball bag, I put, "Will you watch the Pro Bowl?" Obviously, no one watches the Pro Bowl.
But are you going to watch the Pro Bowl draft
Exactly.
live on ESPN?
Is that a
Speaking
thing?
of, yeah,
Yeah, you can. It's going to be prime time on Saturday night, I think.
they pick sides, right?
Yeah, they have a
It's
draft.
like
And then they're drafted by the captains of the teams?
Yeah, something like
Who's
that.
the captains? Do we know?
I don't know. Do you know
Ray,
Josh?
Ray Rice and his wife.
Oh,
No
see,
idea.
he's going to get us
He's
thrown off the air.
going to get us all fired.
Thrown off the air.
Well,
I'm not going down with the ship. Josh can go by himself.
what would you do to make the Pro Bowl better?
I feel
To
like
make
we
it
answer this
something that you
question
actually
every year.
watch. I know, it's a question we talk.
I
and
think
don't
they-
say put them all in an elevator.
Put keep coming up with creative uniforms because that's the only thing that is aesthetically pleasing to watch in that game.
I don't understand why
Why do they wear uniforms?
why do you need
Make
to
them play naked.
No, they should play on. They should play on the beach. They're in Hawaii. Go play on the beach.
why
play in
would
swimsuits.
you watch that? What would happen
No.
if you just got rid of the Pro Bowl? If you announced Pro Bowl players but you never had a game?
Right, right.
Would that be okay with everybody? I don't
Well,
think anyone
yeah,
would complain.
yeah.
Just get rid of it.
You got the right idea
Yeah,
there.
but players like their little free trip to Hawaii
So
and
give 'em-
bonuses for making the Pro Bowl.
So give them bonuses. Give them a trip to Hawaii if you want, or just give them a bigger bonus and don't pay for them to go to Hawaii.
Right, I mean,
I'm
that's-
sure everybody would be even happier.
That's the funny thing is they can all afford a trip to Hawaii.
Yeah. I don't know, but maybe the Ravens snapper can. I don't know.
Morgan Cox.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Morgan Cox can afford. I don't know.
He's a Pro Bowl winner. He can afford a
He
trip
probably
to
gets a
Hawaii.
bonus.
How
for
much do
that.
snappers make?
I don't
Snappers
know.
make money.
I don't know. Speaking of special teams,
The long snapper even.
I
at
heard
that.
someone say that.
Matt Stover.
I heard someone say Chris Davis in his. Who was I listening to today? That they said, I thought this was a good line. That Chris Davis in his when his 22 in 22 years when he's making
Right.
$1.5 million, that would probably be less than the minimum wage for baseball players. Like that would be less than
that's
the
than
minimum.
the entry.
Whatever the minimum is that a major league baseball player.
The way it's going,
in
I
22
think
years, $1.5 million could be less than that.
with inflation the way it is these days.
it could be.
I mean,
Well, inflation in baseball.
I mean, what's
inflation
the
of salaries in
minimum
baseball.
now? Is it
yeah.
$500,000?
That sounds about right.
I
Somewhere
mean,
around there.
can you believe what's going on overseas? I mean, everything is just.
What are you talking about?
and Donald Trump could be president. Like things are going out of control.
And the
here.
power of the euro, the power of the yen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's paying attention to these things except for me. And if anybody has any questions, you can tweet at Bert Rohde, and I'll fill you in on the things going on in the Middle East. Hello.
All right.
You should do a world economy segment on the show where you just talk about the world economies
Yeah, you can
And
tune
how it
into my
affects-
336 Economist podcast.
and how it affects the Orioles and future decision making.
Yes. Okay, next question.
All right. So Matt, speaking of money and special teams, Matt Stover said that when he was on the Browns, he bought a house, and then like 3 months later, the Browns announced that they're moving to Baltimore. So he had to sell all that and move to Baltimore.
Right.
And he was a little bitter because he lost about $50,000
Yeah.
in the move, and the Browns didn't pay that back.
Yeah.
And he thinks that when a team moves, they should pay the players to move.
See,
what do you
I
guys
think
think of that?
I think he should be bitter with whoever he has hired as his financial advisor. You should tune into my financial advice podcast every Wednesday, and I can teach you how to not lose money when you sell your home and move halfway across the country because your team has moved. I'll teach you how to do that.
Well, what I think the difference is he bought a home at Cleveland price tags, and then he moved up here.
Yeah, well, anytime you buy a house and then what, he had to sell it right away because the team moved.
Yeah.
I mean, did he not have any inkling that the team was going to move, and he just bought a house in Cleveland anyway? I mean,
Apparently not.
that's
Apparently,
poor planning.
I mean, have you
apparently
guys
the-
never been in a situation where you bought a house and you're planning to buy a house, but then for whatever reason things don't work out and you have
I
to
have
question
no
that,
idea what that's
and you
like.
might have to buy another house because the first house didn't work out?
Josh, you ever have experience like that?
No, never
It's a
been there.
nightmare.
You both have had that
It's a
experience.
Never been there.
nightmare. Yeah, like literally in the
But
last year.
his argument is that the teams say, be part of the community, be part of this city, and then they go up and leave the city. So if the team's not committed, And why are they asking the players to be committed?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, my argument is, if this is a ball bag question, it must have been a real slow news week.
Oh, it was a slow
here
news
in
week.
Birdland.
If you've been listening to this show for the last
I'm
hour,
trying to
you know
get
it's a slow news week.
Trying to get some Ravens talk in there. All right, you want some more stuff?
Matt
In the past
Stover,
week-
does that count as Ravens talk? Matt Stover talk?
Yeah.
Former Ravens
Yeah,
talk.
former Ravens. Fine. You want some more former Raven talk?
Yes,
There are 6 Ravens in the Super Bowl this year.
former Ravens.
Former Ravens.
Yeah.
Can you name any of them?
I can name Blindside. I can name him.
Michael Orr,
Michael Orr,
Ed Dixon.
Ed Dixon,
Did coaches count? Gary Kubiak.
Kubiak.
Owen Daniels caught a touchdown in Denver last weekend.
Yeah. Owen Daniels, didn't he catch 2?
He might have. I know he caught one. It was a nice catch too.
I believe he caught 2
Corner in
touchdowns.
the end zone.
Yeah.
And the Panthers have one more guy, and I can't. It's slipping my mind right now. Darian Stewart's on the
Oh, yeah.
Broncos.
And Darren Stewart's
He
on the
played for us.
Broncos.
So
He
there's
plays the
does
Ravens.
Kubiak count?
We'll count Kubiak.
Okay, so there's the 3 from the Broncos, and there is a third one on the Panthers, but I think he's
We got Dixon and Orr.
yeah, they're the big ones. I can't think-
And Ed Dixon, is he still getting significant playing time there?
not really, because Greg Olson is the starting tight
Right.
end,
But Michael Orr is the starting tackle for them, right?
left tackle. Yeah,
How does that work?
yeah. Is he good all of a
Right.
sudden? He got a false start penalty. You saw that,
Right.
Carolina.
Well, I saw
Yeah.
Twitter's reaction
Yeah.
to that. Yeah, but he's starting left tackle for a Super Bowl team.
Yeah, he's one game away from his second ring.
We all stood up and applauded when we got him out of here. We stood up and applauded to get rid of Michael Orr and his false start.
I mean,
Yeah.
he helped us win a Super Bowl.
But he's been bounced around. He was with Tennessee for a little while, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Was there another team in between before he went to Carolina?
Tennessee was the first team.
I don't know, but I did like to see Owen Daniels make an impact on Sunday.
Why? You only
Big
played for us for 1 year.
Still, I thought
I
I'd
feel
rather
so.
see Michael Orr get another ring than Owen Daniels.
I don't.
See, I
it
feel-
doesn't really matter to me.
I feel no
for
strong
former
connection
Ravens.
with Kubiak, with Owen Daniels, with Orr. I feel no real strong connection with any of those guys.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, we drafted Michael Orr at least, and we
Yeah.
drafted Ed Dixon too. But
But we also booed those guys an awful lot.
Yeah.
Both of them. Dixon with his
All right.
hands made of rocks.
rock hands.
Well, speaking of guys that we boo who are no longer on the local team, David Lowe's now on the Phillies. Steve Pierce is on the Rays. Who's going to make the bigger impact for their team?
I heard Andy McPhail said that Philly fans are really going to like David Lowe a lot. So
You're
We'll
going
have
to
to-
fall in love with this guy.
you're going to fall in love with David Lowe. That's what Andy McPhail said.
We'll have
so.
to get the opinion of our resident Phillies expert, Adam Chetzel, spring
Oh, yeah, this
training
is-
correspondent.
This is like the Dumb and Young reverse of this.
Exactly.
A couple years ago, Dumb and Young came
Right.
from the Phillies to the Orioles. We,
Well,
we got his, and
We'll
of
have to tell
course,
him you want nothing to do with David Lowe.
yeah, Dumb and Young is dump. We'll have to tell him David Lowe is dump. But we'll have to tell him.
Right.
We'll have to tell him that.
By the way, the third Raven on the Panthers roster is Dwan Edwards, another guy that the Ravens
Oh, yeah.
drafted. So all 3 former Ravens on the Panthers were Ravens draft picks,
Yeah,
original,
yeah.
coming out
Hey.
of college. Pretty interesting.
And they're doing well too, which is a shame. We use and Darian Stewart's doing well too. I mean, he's starting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we used to make the argument that whenever players leave the Ravens, they never turn into anything. They become bums. And there's a lot of examples of players who leave the Ravens and become bums, and you never hear them again. But there are some guys who've had some success as well.
Yeah. Did you see who's filling in for Cam Newton on the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, it was Tyrod.
Tyrod Taylor.
Oh wow, good for him.
Yeah.
Who I always want
Terry
to call.
Bridgewater, is he going too?
Is he going?
He had a good year.
I don't know.
They made the playoffs.
All right, Pro Bowl. You made the playoff because of Peterson that defense.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Pro Bowl year? Get out of here.
I don't know.
The Pro Bowl's a joke.
Steve Pierce to the Rays reminds me of when Luke Scott went to the Rays.
It is. It's the same type of player.
It's guy with little pop in his bat, but I went to one game at Tropicana Field to see the Orioles play like 3-4
Right.
years ago, and it was Luke Scott T-shirt night. So I actually have a Luke Scott Tampa Bay Rays T-shirt.
Nice.
I never wore it. I don't even know where it is. It's probably in one of my pods.
You equate Luke Scott with
Steve
Steve
Pierce.
Pierce?
Steve Pierce.
Yeah, it reminded me of the same guy.
I
The former Orioles who went to
think,
the Rays.
but I think Luke Scott made more of an impact in Baltimore than Steve Pierce ever did. Even though somehow Steve Pierce was the fan favorite bobblehead last year.
Steve Pierce.
Steve Pierce was on better teams than Luke Scott was.
He was.
Man, we got people in the chat room dropping Morgan Cox's salary. Look at this.
Oh, really? Nice. What is it?
Could you drop his
I'm
home
gonna
address
guess
and
first.
social security number?
Yes.
I would guess he's making $45,000. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be ridiculous. That would be like he's actually doing a real job.
Right.
I would guess he makes $500,000
$825.
$825.
Thank you, Jacob Rock.
for snapping a football.
I thought minimum wage is.
I'm in the wrong line of work.
And he was a walk-on in college. Remember, he's a former Special Team Player of the Week, Section 336, Ravens Special Team Player of the Week.
He's a pretty big dude, right? He's probably like.
Yay!
Where's that button, Josh? He's probably like 6'3" and about 270.
He's a big boy.
See, I can't do that. If I was just born taller, I could get the weight on. That's no problem.
That's no problem.
I was born too short. I have no problem getting fat like Josh, but I was just born too short.
Right. Rob Manfred said today that he foresees the Major League Baseball games in London in 2017. You guys like that idea?
Baseball in London?
Baseball in London.
Why?
I think that all of these people.
I want to go to Cuba. What is that? I thought we were going to Cuba.
I thought we were doing
That's
Cuba.
what I want to do.
I feel like all of these like sport execs see the money and see TV revenues
and see the market size. You have a London
the market, and they don't look at the fact that airplanes are still limited in their travel time.
Yeah,
and it still sucks to fly to London.
Yeah,
and it's going to ruin your team for at least a week.
Yeah.
Not to mention if there's ever a home team who's from London and how much it will screw them up.
Why are we trying to send baseball over to appeal to international countries? Because it works the other way around. We steal their best athletes and bring them to America. And then we also steal their fan bases. That's why everyone in South Korea loves the Orioles now. That everybody's buying a Hyunsoo Kim jersey in South Korea. And all these guys, it worked out great. I just watched $1 Million Arm this week. How about the India market for these two pitchers that the Pirates picked up who have done nothing? Right. One of them went back to India where he teaches Little League now or something, but still.
But that's why, right? Because you see how crazy a market goes about one player, and you think the opportunity there is huge.
Yeah, what if we marketed 30 players to
Wei Chen was a hit in Taiwan.
But I don't know why we got to go to why don't we take advantage of Mexico and Cuba?
Crime. Crime in Mexico is an issue.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying the crime.
Okay.
El Chapo is still down there.
The corrupt police system.
El Chapo. But I'm just saying, as far as the international community, I like the idea of becoming international. I think it's a good idea. I think we should pursue that. But I don't know why it's always London.
Are there any British baseball players? I don't think there are any.
I'm more into cricket. You can make the transition right from cricket to baseball.
That's what $1 Million Arm was all about. They were trying to find a cricket pitcher.
Right.
Gosh, have you seen this movie with John Hamm?
I haven't seen it.
It's made by Disney, so of course I've seen it.
I watched another Disney movie today.
What's that?
An old time Disney movie called I think it's called the Snowball Express. Is that
the Polar Bear Express?
Polar Express.
Polar Express.
No, it's made in the 70s. This guy buys a ski resort in Colorado.
I don't know that one.
Okay. The wife and I have been watching all these old movies now when it was snowed in. Anyway, Bert, you were saying about the $1 Million Arm.
Oh, you're
like
correct.
It was good.
The Snowball.
It's a documentary?
No, it was Don Draper stars in the movie.
Oh,
it's based on a true story. Yeah, everyone loves Don Draper.
Yeah. Was this
John Hamm?
Was this before Mad Men or after?
During.
Or during Mad
Men. The movie came out like 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's not that old of a movie.
It's not that, but it's not that recent either.
No, I have not seen it.
All right, where are we at?
Oh, hey, the intern updated the Twitter the Twitter feed to say who would you prefer to see win.
Oh,
there we go. That's a missing part.
He's the man.
He put the win in all caps too to emphasize
that he
the
screwed
win
up.
part. Yeah.
All right. Last ball bag question.
Sure.
Now that Manny's got a big tattoo, we're gonna get some tattoos at Sarasota this year. Tattoos of each other on our forearms. Who gets who?
And then I'll post an actual photo next to the tattoo, and everyone
exactly.
can call.
Yeah, I would not get a tattoo of my wife, and I'm fairly certain that we will stay together for the rest of our lives. I am much less certain that Section 336 will stay together for the rest of my life. So I'm certainly not going to get a Section 336 tattoo.
We're brothers-in-law and brothers for life, though.
Right? We don't have really a choice. We can't get divorced. Well, he can. We can't.
I've already gotten texts from my wife who is watching on the YouTube stream that I'm in the doghouse for all that Laura tattoo.
I saw your dad's watching too and posting.
Yeah, and I saw your son's watching too.
Yes, he's our biggest fan.
Yeah, no wonder you've been winking like crazy.
What's up, Albie? Go to bed. Go to bed. I'm not getting a 336 tattoo. Well, I don't know. Depends on how much I drink. And that is it a day game? Is it a day game?
That's what I'm saying. Saturday night.
Hey, if we can get Schetzel to get a Section 36 tattoo, I might even get a tattoo too. If we can get Schetzel in.
There you go.
That's not that hard.
He's up for anything.
I feel like if it's after midnight, I don't know if there's any tattoo parlors in Sarasota.
I bet there's a couple.
I might have to check it out because I could totally get Schetzel to do it.
Yeah.
I think.
What was that place we went to? 420 Munchies or something?
Yeah, there's probably
There's
someone
definitely a tattoo parlor right by
In
there.
the back?
Yeah.
Probably in the back room.
Yeah, probably.
All right, someone just hanging out. I'll do it for you.
Next to the fried thing. What do they call that thing where you dip the fries in?
The fryer.
The fryer, that's it. The fry thing.
All right, well, that's the ball bag.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. Let's get to the thoughts, corrections, analyses.
Let's bring in our producer.
This is where he
clarifications.
runs in from the back door.
Our producer, the Rose Rivers intern, is running
Does he
in.
get his own mic this time, or do I have to share it
No,
with
go
him?
to your mic.
Go to your mic there, intern.
Oh, and he gets to be on camera too, right?
Oh, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't press the button.
That's a shame.
I don't know how. So
He's not the best producer in the world, but he's our producer.
He's learning. This is only week 2 with the cameras for him.
I looked up the Park Creek murder, and it was Chandra Levy.
Chandra Levy,
Yeah, and Rock Creek Park.
Yeah.
Not Park Creek.
Close enough.
Yeah,
But,
just like that Super Bowl tweet.
Fun fact: Brad Brock was a good trade by Dan Duquette. He was acquired for right-handed pitcher Devin Jones in 2013.
Hey, that's a
Yeah,
good call.
that is a good
All
call.
right, that's a good move.
We like Brad Brock.
Yeah. And Michael Orr was only with the Titans for a year until he was released. Then he signed a 2-year deal with the Panthers this past offseason.
Oh, there you go. So
All right.
there wasn't a team in between there.
No.
And on top of Morgan Cox's $825,000 salary for 2015, he had an $80,000 signing bonus. So we also
There you
have to
go.
include that.
What about the Pro Bowl bonus? Is there
Sure,
a Pro Bowl
yes.
bonus?
A long snapper bonus.
Yeah, he's getting close to $1 million there.
I could not find his bonus for that. It was too close towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
And there is one active Englishman in the Major League
Who's
Baseball.
that?
It is Chris Reed, born in 1990 in London, and he's a pitcher for the Miami Marlins. 4.5 ERA.
I wonder if he's got an
Nice.
accent. Good find, intern.
Yeah,
thank you.
we have to get him on the show.
And you're getting lots of love in the chat room there.
Oh, stop lying.
Somebody, at least one person said hi, intern.
That counts as lots of love.
Yeah, I exaggerated the lots, but sure.
and the love part, actually.
Maybe it was just like, oh, hi, intern.
It's that time of the show again.
Great fun facts. Everyone loves fun facts.
All right, well, we appreciate those of you who have written reviews on iTunes.
By the way,
Yeah.
when the intern was talking right there and he was holding his notepad up in the air, I don't know if he was doing this on purpose, but he was sticking it right in front of Josh's face,
Yeah.
so you couldn't see Josh on the camera.
Typical intern.
That is classic intern.
Classic intern.
Classic intern. But go ahead, if you haven't yet, you can join me and tens of others to write a review on iTunes for Section 336.
Yeah.
You can also like our Facebook page. That's
Yeah.
a thing.
Yes.
Subscribe to us on iTunes.
Yes.
Also subscribe to us on YouTube. Right?
Yeah.
We want to get it up to that 100 number.
Yep, and a announcement coming in probably next week or the week after, but you should check out birdlandradio.com.
Ooh, a little
Okay.
tease.
Okay.
And if you're making your spring training plans, why not consider the weekend of March 5th, 6th, and 7th? Because that's when Section 336 is going to be there. Just saying. Love to hang out.
You can follow us on Twitter to find out more information about this and plenty more, like what did the intern just tweet, at following the show's Twitter handle at Section 336 Show.
You guys realize how much more work the intern's done since we kicked him off of this table?
I'm impressed. I'm not complaining.
He's basically on tweet. The video's going. He's doing a good job.
It was an A effort from the intern today.
A+.
Now,
effort.
we'll watch the video tomorrow to see if it's just Bert for an hour and a half.
Then he was doing a really good job. Yeah. All right, let's go home. I'm tired.
All right, yeah, Bert, that's my job. I'm about to get to it, all right?
All right, sorry.
You can't rush these things to flow to it, and you just ruined my flow. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at Section336. I'm going to get to the intern at the end here. I'm going to see if the intern can make it back in time. You can follow Bert
Yeah, you just
on
gave
Twitter.
him warning. You want to have some fun? Hold that door shut while he tries to barge through it.
You can follow Bert on Twitter.
At Bert Brody.
You can follow Josh on Twitter.
At Josh Soroka.
And you can follow the intern on Twitter,
At WWIntern.
but I wouldn't recommend it.
It looked like he was about to kick you.
That was really creepy. I hope that came over on the video.
He got really close to my face.
I think he spoke more into your mouth than into the microphone.
He got really close to my face. All right, I need to go handle this. So, but I don't even know what we're doing. Thanks for listening, and as always, go O's.
Wrong button.
Section 336 is a affiliate of 24/7 Networks. Find Section 336 on UtahStreetReport.com.